Is this a crypto disaster for America or another plot to manipulate you through the media to pry and rip this digital asset out of your hands? Once they're ready, the banks, the 1%, they'll come and bite you in. But for now, if you're not balanced, if you're not grounded, they're going to rip, they're going to claw, and they're going to manipulate their way to get this out of your hands. I promise you, the things you're seeing are all distractions. They want your Bitcoin, they want your XRP, they want your cryptocurrency. So here's the truth that nobody's going to tell you. Crypto is here to stay. Blockchain is here to stay. The difference is who's going to be disciplined, who's going to be grounded, who's going to have the discernment to be able to make it through the uncertainty. I've been telling you, February 20th, 2026, I want to make this very clear. This isn't a flip of a switch. It's not that the system comes on. I'm going to show you tomorrow how you're starting to see disclosure. It's an energetic shift in humanity. Influencers, brokers, media, politicians are all going to get exposed. It's from the micro to the macro. And what you're seeing right now is a transmutation of the old system into the new system. And your job is to lock in and ask yourself, are you in this to get rich quick? Or are you truly in this to change your family's life? Are you in this just to make a quick buck? And you think that $1 million is going to save you? Or are you in this to change the infrastructure and the fabric of your family for generations to come? That's what I'm in this for. I'm not in it for the short term. I'm in it for the long term. I'm in it for the impact for my family, from my kids to my grandkids to my grandkids to my grandkids. And I locked in 2020. I put blinders on. I ignored the noise. I built a plan, and I got out of the get rich quick, the hype and the price predictions. And I built a plan. And I suggest you do too. So we're going to watch one video, but I want you to understand how this works. Check this out, guys. Look at the title. Look at the title. This is what the public is seeing right here. Disaster for America. Crypto clash ignites as China makes digital asset push. Now, also pay attention to my comments, right? My title says alert, crypto disaster for America. 99% of people won't even watch the video. They won't make it this far and read the comments. That's exactly what I'm talking about. We have the attention span of a goldfish. You'll see the comments on X and YouTube, and they won't even watch the video. That's my point behind this, guys. You have to use clickbait. You have to use flashy thumbnails because that's what they do to us. I just put exactly what they put. Do you see my point behind this? So if you've made it this far, it's time to lock in spiritually, physically, and financially. Become a warrior in a garden versus a gardener in a war. So let's watch these two videos. These are very, very, very important to understand. They're going to scratch, rip, and claw at your cryptocurrency. And the fact is, a lot of people aren't going to make it through it. They're going to come rushing back in when this stuff goes parabolic. And I don't know when it's going to go, but at some point it's going to launch, and it's going to launch very, very quickly. And the people who sold are going to say, oh, I wish I would have. I wish I should have. Stop shooting all over yourself and let's do something. Check this out.
Stalemate holding up the Clarity Act in the Senate. Participants calling the talks constructive, but crypto representatives reportedly felt that banks were slow to engage. The major impasse is whether crypto exchanges should be allowed to offer customers rewards on stablecoins held on crypto platforms. Should the crypto companies be able to reward customers for moving their money out of banks and onto crypto platforms? The president voiced support for the bill, the Clarity Act, in the Oval Office yesterday. Watch this.
I'm a big crypto person. I'm the one that probably helped crypto more than anybody because I believe in it. And the reason I believe in it is because if we don't do it, Scott, I think we can say then China's going to do it. Right? Yes, sir. If we don't do crypto, then China's going to do it.
Joining me now is the Chief Legal Officer of Coinbase, Paul Grewal. Paul, great to have you. Thank you so much for being
Listen
here.
to what he says.
And of course, Coinbase was a major participant in the meeting yesterday at the White House. What was the main takeaways from your standpoint?
Well, I think the main takeaway for the American people to understand is that the White House is fully engaged. Full credit to President Trump for prioritizing this conversation about the right way to regulate crypto and bring innovation to our financial system. I think it's also very important to understand why the American American people should care about this at all. This is fundamentally about not only innovation, but competitiveness in our financial system and making sure that the US dollar remains the global reserve currency and isn't replaced by a Chinese central bank digital currency.
Boom. Okay. So let me give you the facts, figures, numbers, logic. Trump leaves presidency, dollar guy, no crypto. Larry Fink tells you no crypto. Jamie Dimon tells you no to crypto. Jamie Dimon was building his own blockchain technology, Onyx, which is now, or JPM coin, which became Onyx, I think now is Lynx. They're already building their blockchain technology. They're on-demand liquidity. Larry Fink, 2023, tells you, I made a mistake. When you're worried about your country's debasement of their currency, maybe you should go into Bitcoin. They launch a Bitcoin ETF, which is now the largest holder in Bitcoin in the world, BlackRock. They're the number 3 holder in Strategy B, which is the number 1 treasury in Bitcoin. And they're launching their Bitcoin preferred stock where you can earn income off of it now. Bank of America offers now 1 to 4% or encouraging 1 to 4% of their clients' portfolio into Bitcoin. You go on the Fidelity website. On the Fidelity website, it has right on the Fidelity website. I've seen it with my own eyes. Bitcoin, Litecoin. I think it's Solana and Ethereum. Don't quote me on that. I think those are the 4 that are on there. Okay. It's right there on Fidelity, the number 1 401k holder. Crypto is not going anywhere. What's going to happen is you're going to go somewhere because of the FUD, because of the bullshit, because you're tired of chasing the hype, because you're tired of chasing the price predictions. No influencer knows when this shit's going to go up. We all got it wrong in 2025. Admittedly, I got it wrong in 2025. I finally settled in and said, you know what? We're not going to know when it's going to go up, but at some point it's going to, and it's going to go up fast. And what I decided to do, I just started doing this after 2022, when I saw this stuff come collapsing down. I built an ecosystem, a plan. You have to learn to beat inflation, and you have to understand that the dollar is losing its value every single day. So this is much bigger than just getting rich quick. This is a systematic shift that your grandkids are going to look back and say, what did you do during this time? Did you sit back and, constantly go back and forth around the files being released, and you're back and forth and you're back and forth and arguing and you focused on all this stuff, but then you look back at your own life spiritually, physically, and financially, and you don't have your own shit together? That's the number 1 thing people should be doing. Like, this is real talk, is you should be getting physically dialed in, spiritually dialed in, and financially dialed in, because that's what you can do to help humanity, is you can dial the heck in and get your family ready. You can build under your 4 walls in your house a spiritual grounding, physical sovereignty, financial sovereignty. Pull your kids out of school. My daughter lives with me full time. My son is homeschooled. I watch every single move he makes. He doesn't do sleepovers. Kids don't sleep over at our house. When he has friends over, I'm like a hawk until this young man is an adult enough to know what is right, what is wrong, and he understands the evil out there in the world. I'm there to protect him. Put on your armor of God, pull out your sword, stand in the gap for your family. That's what we should be doing. Standing in the gap isn't bitching, complaining, sitting there going back and forth and, Epstein and Bitcoin. No. It's like, then don't use the US dollar. You really think they're using Bitcoin for nefarious activities? You can actually track it. You can see what's going on. They're using the dollar, guys. It's like, don't get caught up in this noise, man. I think you can see now, Epstein, there's files around Palantir that he was involved in Palantir. And I guarantee you're going to find out he was involved in probably a lot of other transactions. He was manipulating the wealthiest people in the world. He was manipulating our politicians. Now you know how dark it is. Wait till you see the video I'm going to show you tomorrow. I'm trying to get you down to the core, to the root. Okay, because that's where the fruit is coming from. Where Melinda Gates literally exposes Bill Gates. Guys, we know there's evil. It's dark as hell. The devil is the prince of the earth. The only way that we can fix this is to fix ourselves. That's the way to fix this. Okay, so the next video I'm going to show you guys is from the CFTC. So, like the headline, I just want to remind you, look at this, guys. This is what public sees. The crypto, let's go back here. This is what the public sees. Disaster for America. Crypto clash ignites, right? And so I put crypto for, I just repeated what they said, right? That's just how this works. That's the real deal, right? I don't let headlines manipulate. My plan is how I make decisions. Microeconomic is how I make decisions. We feed the ecosystem. We pull profits. We protect some. We have defense. We have offense. Okay, so let's listen to what the CFTC says.
Securities and Exchange Commission partnering with the Commodities Futures Trading Commission on Project Crypto in an effort to align federal oversight of digital assets. White House officials meeting with crypto industry executives and bank associations yesterday to help break the impasse holding up the Clarity Act. Participants also calling the talks constructive, but crypto representatives said that they felt banks were slow to engage, reportedly. The major stalemate, as we've been talking about, is whether crypto exchanges and crypto companies should be allowed to offer customers rewards, money on stablecoins held on crypto platforms. Joining me now is the chairman of the CFTC, Michael Seelig. Mr. Chairman, great to have you.
Glad to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. And let's start at the beginning in terms of how you are delineating the difference between a security and a commodity. Because in this market structure bill, you're intending to classify tokens as securities versus commodities so that we have clear jurisdiction. Walk us through it.
That's right. For too long, we've had the Gary Genslers of the world regulating by enforcement, claiming that every digital asset is a security. And Chairman Paul Atkins and I really disagree with that view. We believe that most crypto assets in the markets today are commodities. These are digital assets that maybe were issued as part of a securities transaction, but they trade a lot like oil, gas, and other commodities in our markets. And the information that is prevalent to and important to trading these assets comes from the markets at large. It's not coming from a single source of information, as you see with the capital markets with an issuer. And so we need to build markets that allow for these assets to trade with clear rules of the road, and we can't regulate by enforcement anymore.
Okay, so that's what's coming. This is the reality you're facing. Banks are coming into crypto, okay? This is how it always works, guys. They tell us to look this way. Since 2020, I've shared this with you guys. I started to look this way, and I was like, wait a minute. The Epstein files, why did they drop them all of a sudden, guys? Why on the, I don't know. I don't know the answer. But why all of a sudden, boom? Everybody is distracted, guys. Everybody's mind off crypto. Now everybody's like, Epstein created Bitcoin and there's all this stuff happening. Dude, they are literally prying your crypto out of your hands. They're like, give it to us. Come on. Give it to us. Come on. This shit is dark that's happening. I understand that. It's extremely dark. But if they had all these files and they knew what was going on, why didn't they release it before? Why on that date? Why right before February 20th, 2026? Why during this timeline? Why when there's the biggest financial switch in history happening? What happened after World War II, guys? BIS came in, IMF, okay? America became the world's reserve currency. Okay, they started to manipulate our grandparents into the American dream. Our parents and our would-be our grandparents and our grandparents into the American dream. 30-year mortgage, finance your auto loan. Families used to own shit. Before 1907, we used to own stuff. We had land. We had our pride. We got paid in our labor in something tangible. And now you get paid in debt. And you take that debt and you put it in a bank and they lend it 9 times over. And you take the labor that's traded for debt and you monetize more debt, borrowing against your future self and giving up future labor that you haven't even worked yet. So now you get paid in debt. And the only way you can make more money is to give up more time. You take the debt that you're paid in, the income, which is different than cash flow, and you monetize more debt taken away from your future labor. And the only way you can get out of the hole is get a raise that beats inflation. And your boss is not giving you a raise that beats inflation. You're getting poorer every single year. So now you get paid in someone else's debt. Okay. You monetize more debt and they deflate your currency every single year. So you're actually in a hole. And then they tell you to get a 401k that you can't touch. You get penalized if you touch the money. And then when you retire, you get taxed on the back end and your money is deflated probably in half because of inflation. So you get paid in debt for labor. You monetize more debt. Okay. Then you have a 401k that you can't touch. And by the time you retire, they deflated your currency probably in half the value of it. And then you get taxed and you're at the mercy of the markets. And if you retired between 2006 and 2008, you got screwed because the banks were irresponsible. And you got screwed. That's not how winning is done. Number one is you need cash flow. You need to create cash flow. When you trade labor for income, you need to take first and put it into cash flow. Richest man in Babylon. Create a brother or sister. You need to run lean and mean on the debts and non-negotiable sides, things you need to live. Anything outside of debts and non-negotiables, 10% goes into cash flow. The rest goes into A, assets. This is my capital DR system. It beats every single economic cycle. A is assets. You get to decide. I don't care what you buy. I'll tell you what I do, but you can do whatever you want. You have to learn how to beat inflation. What beats inflation? Gold, silver, fixed supply assets. That's why I like XRP, 100 billion in supply. Yeah, that's a lot, but it's deflationary by its utility. Bitcoin, 21 million. There'll never be more. So those are my top two assets that are both deflationary, and I have crushed inflation since 2020. You lost 24% of your purchasing power in your US dollar. My XRP when Trump got elected went up 800%, and my Bitcoin 2%. And yes, I did pull profits when Trump got elected. I took 10% of 50%. I put it into a stable coin. And when everybody got wrecked on 10/10/2025, I went back in and bought more XRP. So that goes into P, CAP. I pull profits and I put it into protection. You're leaving your retirement in offense, which goes up and down. Assets go up and down. That's not a retirement. You need to protect. You need stability. Just like a home. If you don't have a stable ground, it's going to sink. Stable ground is things like cash value life insurance, precious metals. I like Berkshire, okay? All of these things right here, especially insurance, that's when I go to L, leverage. I'm lean and mean. I have no credit card debt. I have no personal debt. All my debt is on a business side that creates income. My debt that I monetize buys assets. You're on the wrong side of the interest quadrant. There's a big interest symbol. You earn it, okay? Or you pay it. Elites earn it and you pay it. That's it. There's no other way to look at this. That's it. Nobody's stopping you. Everybody has access to the system. It's how disciplined are you going to be to get yourself out of the hole? And here's the thing. Somebody had to do it. Somebody who is wealthy in a family. I'm the first person within my ecosystem and my family to build wealth. It was hard and it is hard. It will continue to be hard. But the freedom is worth it. I'm not here to sell you get rich quick, but I can't stand the hopium and price predictions. It drives me it hurt so many people the back end of last year. And I'm just here to just let it all come out, man. This is how I talk to my team. This is what it is, guys. It was so disappointing to see. We coach 14,000 people worldwide. We have thousands of people message on social media. It was so disheartening to see how many people got wrecked because they were waiting for these huge price predictions. I'll give you an example. There was a single mom who messaged us on our social media, was like, I was telling my kids we were going to be multimillionaires, blah, blah, blah. And I planned my whole life around this. I cashed out my savings. I took debt on a credit card. And it was like, I'm sorry. We've been trying to show you on our social that there is no get rich quick. It's discipline, consistency. That's what hype does. That's what hopium does. That's what they've done to humanity. They keep dangling the carrot. And you cannot outwork, you can't out-hype discipline, guys. And what you're about to see after February 20th is all darkness is coming to light. You're just seeing a little bit of the momentum, guys. That's it. Melinda Gates, I'm going to show the video tomorrow, where she's like, it's his reckoning, man. They have to deal with, she literally explained you can see the emotion. She literally explained from an emotional sense, the reckoning that's coming on February 20th, 2026. Intentions are going to get exposed. No, it's not a flip of a switch. It's not crypto going parabolic. It is literally an energetic shift where you think disclosure is big now, guys. Man, you better buckle up. And if you're not grounded physically, spiritually, I've been training for this, guys. I've been trying to hint, and now I'm just saying it. This is what I've been training for. I trained for 2025. If you understand Chiron return, okay, study this stuff, guys. I got ready. I turned 49 last year, going into my Chiron And I'm in my Chiron return. I literally trained physically, spiritually, mentally, and financially for this. I'm turning 50 in a month. And I'm going to make sure that everything I do is towards my family, God, number one, family, protection of my ecosystem, and stay out of other men's business. So I'm too busy working on mine. But I'm just here to tell you guys, you got to lock in. You're too distracted. This is literally the Coliseum. They got America locked in on distraction right now. And I'll tell you what, mark my words, save this video and come back to this timestamp right here, 20 minutes, 31 seconds, and timestamp this. The wealth gap is going to become massive. The middle class is going to get wiped out. Leverage towards technology moving down to the working poor. But those who create a system, those who can recognize how to beat inflation, those who invest in the new infrastructure of the financial system and the new wave over the next 100 years will be the new 1% within their family. And here's the powerful part about that. When a new 1% comes in, we can change how the 1% operates. We can demystify this evil, gross, more like this ego, this needing more into cooperation, connectivity, using our free will to expand consciousness, using our wealth to build ecosystems that free people in their mind, coming together, helping humanity, building things that actually are ethical, moral. So you're going to see more people come back to Christ. Christ is king. I stand on that. I love God with all of my heart, with all of my heart. And I love humanity. I love everybody. I don't care what religion you are. I love you. Like that. There's nothing, I have nothing against anybody. I have no enemies other than this guy I look in the mirror every single night. And I got a lot of shit to work on myself. So I ain't got time for your bullshit. I ain't got time for your comments. I don't have time for the bullshit. I have time for God, looking myself in the eyes, protecting my family and my ecosystem. So if you're still here, comment warrior, comment armor of God, and let's get out there and protect our families. As we always say, warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go.